Packers win total is at 10.5, Brew. Are you going over or no?
You don't even need to ask me.
Falcons, Bills, Panthers, Cowboys. Ooh, that Cowboys game in Green Bay is fun. Texans, Dolphins, Rams, Patriots, Saints, Jets, Bucks on the road. Packers.
I think I may have been a year early on my Packers to the Super Bowl pick. Michael will be back maybe for the start of the season, week 3, 4 for sure.
Okay.
They're going to be, remember last year, we don't think of this because they've been in the playoffs a few times. They were the youngest team in the league last year. All right. Yeah. Jordan Love had his best season and seemed to get rid, early on he had some moments the Jordan Love moments, but later on he was strong. And look, I would love to see them, and I guess it's possible they get a better receiver. Maybe Matthew Golden will turn into that true number one. They need a true number one, but assuming Micah's back healthy, Matt LaFleur, too, who I think is a very good coach, is on the hot seat.
Yeah.
And I think that'll motivate him. I don't think you can say he should be if you just look at the results, but I think it's crazy to have him on the hot seat. But again, I think that could work in their benefit because he knows, man, I got to have a great season. And so I think they're going to be the over.
I'd take the under. You still have a good season, still going to make the playoffs hitting the under. That's a big number. You lost your defensive coordinator to a head coaching job, which means you lost it. It's always more concerning to me when you lose a coordinator because he was so good that he got plucked, rather than we are making this choice because we think we can improve in that spot, meaning you didn't want to lose him. I think that Micah's return from an ACL is a bit of a black box at a position and a style of play where what makes him so special, one of the things is his speed, his burst, his athleticism. So even when he is back, how long until he looks like Micah? I do think that and it's also their star receiver, tight end. Tucker Kraft's coming off a major injury. Now he'll be back, but it's all
the backup was pretty good.
And the backup was supposed to be the better player. The Kraft just kind of exploded onto the scene. All of that aging running back, I'll just take the under for now.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to talk about this with the Green Bay Packers because I got some strong thoughts for the Green Bay Packers right now. And with this trajectory of Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur and, what they've been able to accomplish over these last few years, to me, 2026 is a huge year for them. A huge year. You're either going to be Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, how these years have unfolded since, I think, 2017 or 2016, or you're going to be better than that, right? You're going to be able to take this next step because the fact of the matter is that the Packers simply have not taken this next step. And yeah, for years they've been the youngest team and what they did in 23 especially and all of that. But this is now years later, right? And I've talked about this so much about this Matt, I always look at quarterback, I always look at things through the coach quarterback duo lens. And I'm ready to see that I'm ready to see that relationship go to the next level. I'm ready to see each other, Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, put each other in positions to succeed and putting them each other in positions, one another in positions to ball. That's how we got Matthew Stafford having, what did he have? 44 touchdowns or something pretty high. 46 touchdowns, right? Like that's how you get those seasons. That's how you get, Patrick Mahomes in either 22 or 2018. Like that's how you get these spectacular seasons. And I'm ready to see that next level, that next evolution of Jordan Love
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to talk about this with the Green Bay Packers because I got some strong thoughts for the Green Bay Packers right now, and with this trajectory of Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur and what they've been able to accomplish over these last few years. To me, 2026 is a huge year for them. A huge year. You're either going to be Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, how these years have unfolded since, I think, 2017 or 2016, or you're going to be better than that, right? You're going to be able to take this next step, because the fact of the matter is that the Packers simply have not taken this next step. And yeah, for years they've been the youngest team, and what they did in 23 especially, and all of that. But this is now years later, right? And I've talked about this so much about this, Matt. You know, Matt, I always look at quarterback, I always look at things through the coach-quarterback duo lens, and ready to see that taken. I'm ready to see that relationship go to the next level. I'm ready to see each other, Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, put each other in positions to succeed, and putting them each other in positions, you know, one another in positions to ball. That's how we got Matthew Stafford having, you know, whatever. What did he have? 44 touchdowns or, you know, something pretty high. 46 touchdowns, right? Like that's how you get those seasons. That's how you get, you know, Patrick Mahomes in either 22 or 2018. Like that's how you get these spectacular seasons. And I'm ready to see that next level, that next evolution of Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur. What do you got? Show me what you got. Show me what you got. And of course now, not only doing it during the regular season, but then doing it in the big games, just even during the regular season, but doing it in the big games, but of course, ideally the playoffs. And it's just, this is a great schedule. A lot of the other schedules, I was kind of just like, oh man, you know, these schedules all kind of feel, I don't want to say tough, but I'm just like, yeah, you know, like they're not there. There's not many easy layups here. But for this schedule, I'm like, this is an awesome schedule. Before I go over the schedule, please, Green Bay Packers fans, do not forget to subscribe and watch the full length of the video. When you guys do that, views go through the roof. Subscribers go through the roof. And it's not about chasing views. It's not about chasing subscribers. It's about creating Green Bay Packers content that people genuinely want to watch, genuinely discuss, so we can keep having the best, unbiased, grounded Green Bay Packers content out there. So please don't forget to do that, as it really, really, really does go an incredibly long way. But I mean, there are other teams that I am very, very optimistic that they are going to take steps forward. The Falcon. I'm saying now on this specific schedule, the Falcons, the Saints. I feel like those are probably actually the main two. Maybe the Panthers. I haven't decided yet. But I mean, like, you got the Jets, you got the Bucks, you got the Dolphins. I mean, you know, the Texans, I'm optimistic that they can support CJ Stroud better, and that defense is legit. But like, if it's kind of same old with the Houston Texans, it's like, okay, you know, I'm going to like the Packers, going to certainly like the Packers against the Dolphins, against the Jets, against the Bucks. Even though I think the Saints can take a step forward and the Falcons can take a step forward, it's like I'm going to favor the Packers. And again, of course, all this is subject to change considering how these teams are, you know, how both teams are unfolding. I'm just saying as of right now. And so it's just like I see some of the floor easy, like, you better win these games, and any of the other games that are like, oh, actually, they'll probably maybe be a little bit harder than in years past, right? Because the Saints should be better than they had been. And same thing with the Falcons and whatnot. But I'm like, still like the Packers in these situations. And then, of course, then you get the true tough games like against the Bills, against the Rams, and, you know, well, the Cowboys. I mean, that was honestly an awesome game last time. The Packers and the Cowboys play each other. We'll see. It's at home. What time of year? I wonder if the NFL would want that to be in a more cold weather game, or if they'll want to make sure that it's like September, Octo, you know, just make sure that like they probably want to have a repeat of just, you know, touchdown. So my guess is that probably ends up being earlier in the season to kind of ensure that it's not like freezing cold and windy and snowy or whatever, would be my guess. But I mean, listen, I don't know. I don't know how the NFL works in that regard. And then, of course, the division, right? This is definitely a tough division. Even if you're just playing the Vikings with a quarterback who you don't even know the name of, it's like the NFC North always finds a way to make those games quite competitive and quite interesting. as you know, honestly, all 4 teams have proven year after year after year. So, a lot of times I like to just split the division in that regard, where it's just like, all right, you win 50% of those games, right? And so it's just, again, not saying that's how it's going to unfold, but just kind of as that floor, you got a couple of these easy games that I think, already puts you pretty much at 7 wins. Then at that point, 8 wins. And then it just all kind of comes down to like what happens against the Bills, what happens against the Rams, what happens against the Patriots. And to me, that's when it's like, who is Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love at this point? Who are you? Their game still to me feels slippery, right? Even when they're playing great, even when Jordan Love is on one and you're just like, this is so good. Whether it was against the Lions in Thanksgiving or in the beginning against the Bears in the playoffs, or you're just like, it's so good, but there's still such a slipperiness to it, even against the Lions, which, I mean, I thought that was a spectacular game. I think it was the Thanksgiving game, but it was so much of it was like 4th down calls, 4th down touchdown passes, which were amazing and elite and special, throws high-level football, but so fragile because like if you don't get that, then you're probably not winning this game. Then you're putting yourself in a major disadvantage. That wasn't the case. And I'm using the Rams as a reference point because they have obviously a great coach quarterback duo that's very pass, centric in that regard. Still run first in a lot of ways, but still, looking to highlight the old quarterback. And I just think like that's what I want to be able to see the Packers do with Draw and Love. I want to see, and I'm not even this is not even the way how I actually view the NFL. Like, I think it's totally a fair game to have like 26 touchdowns, 5 interceptions or something, run the ball. Like, I defend that style of play, to the cows come home. But I recognize, though, that especially when you watch a team like the Rams and what they're able to do, and again, it's obviously when you have Devontae and Puka and whatnot, it's going to be a little bit more frontward facing in that regard. But I do think that team can feed off of that, even though their passing game is absolutely undeniably set up by an elite run game for the Rams. I would love to just see more flavors of that with the Packers. And one of the big reasons for that is because use the Eagles game as an example. When they needed Jordan Love just to be able to just kind of be like, listen, we're kind of maybe struggling moving the ball around. We just want to be able to kind of just pretty consistently hit these like 5-6 yard passes. Like we just want to get comfortable in that. It just kind of became like Jordan Love either needs to make like a 45-yard deep ball bomb, or we literally are struggling to do anything right now. And there's just that fragility. And then there's even almost like an uncomfortableness with Jordan Love. And I don't mean like mentally uncomfortable, because like I think he's a very comfortable, I think he's a very player, but it doesn't feel like when I'm watching him in those moments, it doesn't feel like I'm watching him at his best, right? Take that now to a Matthew Stafford game, like whether we want to use a game like against the Bears, or for instance, which I don't think that was like this unbelievable game by Matthew Stafford by any stretch of the imagination. And he made some bad throws that he got, that he was fortunate to not pay the consequences for it. But I never felt uncomfortable with Stafford in that moment, nor Sean McVay. And especially when specific moments called it when it was like 3rd and 5 and they needed to convert. It's like, well, they got Puka Nacua exactly for wide open for like a catch, where he caught the ball pretty much at the 1st down marker and then was able to run for another 2 yards. And it was like pitch and catch. And there was a comfortability there that to me is just very clear, very obvious. And I use that sequence as a reference point to point out like what the Bills did wrong in their playoff game and highlight that. And it's just like, I want to see that. And we saw essentially the Packers were unable to do that also against the Bears, right? Like when it was time for them to be like, okay, we're going to move the chains, going to convert, I'll milk the clock a little bit more. They couldn't do it. And they ultimately lose, and people tried to blame Halfley for why they lost against the Bears. And I was like, that's just mind-blowing to me. I don't know how in any world can you put that on his shoulders. Like that just doesn't make any sense to me. And so I'm ready to see Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love feel like they are the true anchors of this team. They can be a great team, they can be a balanced team, a well-rounded team, but you still want to feel that, like, yep, this is Jordan. Love and Matt LaFleur, if they're going to win this game, it's because we're going to see greatness out of them. Not well, hey, this defense is really difficult. This def. It's like you want to see the greatness. You want to see that comfortability. You want to see them feel like they are, that they're in their comfort zone, that they're in their bag, and then you're just like, yep, this is all Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, They're always going to be brutal to beat. Like I made my Rams video for the same over-under segment, and to me, it's just like, yeah, Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay. Yeah. It's like that duo right there. It's like, yeah, all bets are off, man. Any playoff game, any regular season game, any fourth quarter, it's like, yeah, there's going to be a ton of comfortability there. I'm just yet to fully see it. Even in games when they're balling, if Jordan loves throwing for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, it's just like, because he's a great player and Matt LaFleur is a great coach, but it's still like, it's hard to put in words, but there's still like it hasn't gone full circle for me yet. That's what I'm waiting to see. And that's how I feel a lot of times with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys over these years, which has ebbed and flowed a little bit because he's obviously had, he's played now for quite a bit of time and has had different coaching staffs and whatnot. But it's just, you're just kind of like, yeah, I watch games where I'm like, yeah, Dak can be great. Dak can absolutely be awesome. He can ball. But then there's like a fragility to it where if things are not quite working out for him, it's like, okay, they really then don't work out. Or, you're going up against a great team in a competitive environment and it's like, you're not making that play that you did the week before. And it's that next level. And so to me, it's just like, all right, are you going to get to that next level right now? Yes or no? And I've defended it and I've kicked the can down the road these last couple of seasons, and it just becomes a little bit harder. And even if they were like, if the Packers was like, well, they don't have the receiver, they don't have this, they don't have that, well, then I start to really kind of look at the franchise as a whole, and it's like, well, what are we doing here? Why are you doing not a good enough job of supporting this offense, this team, this, et cetera? So we'll see. Obviously, losing Halfley is not the best case scenario. Far from it. But I think at the minimum, as long as everyone's actually healthy for the Packers, they got enough bodies, they got enough dudes where maybe even if their defense takes a slight step backwards, for instance, I still think that it'll still be great, still be awesome, and still do damage. It won't be a liability. And that's all I'm really kind of looking for at this point of the offseason, looking at these over-unders. And it's just like, well, are there any like liabilities? Is there like a glaring issue where you're like, man, I don't know, you better nail the draft to do X, Y, and Z. I don't necessarily feel that way with the Packers right now. Honestly, all these 10.5 win teams to me, it's a lot of similar talking points, albeit at different stages for each team. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Green Bay Packers? Are you taking the over or the under? Do you think they're going to be able to take that next step? Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm also really curious, like, do you understand what I'm saying about Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur specifically? I'm curious if my whole rant about that, if that landed for you, if that made sense to you, definitely please let me know. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get into some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun, and please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. So, it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much.